There's only a handful that continue in the old deeded space. Hilton is in the deeded space. They are still deeding some type of a real estate interest to the consumer. Westgate is still in that realm. Holiday Inn has kind of a trust product, but several years ago, probably now 6 or 7, Marriott converted to the points-based product, or this trust concept where you were buying points in this entity, and the points are the currency that you use to book your reservations or to provide for alternate vacations. I think that trend is going to continue. Hilton hasn't gone in that route because of the structure of their properties and the maintenance fee being determined on the unit type that you buy. So the 2-bedroom unit, for example, regardless of the time of the year, pays the same maintenance fee. So as they are focusing on upgrading an existing customer, they can say to you, you have a 2-bedroom unit, your maintenance fee is $1,000 a year, and currently you own in the gold season, so you get 5,000 points. If you upgrade to a platinum unit, you're still in the 2-bedroom, but now you get 7,000 points. It's a one-time purchase price of $10,000. Your maintenance fee doesn't change, but you get 2,000 more points to spend every year. And that's their pitch. And that works very well. If you contrast that to the points product, where your maintenance fee is a function of the number of points that you own, going from 5,000 to 7,000, now your maintenance fee has gone from that $1,000 maybe up to $1,500. And so there's less of an incentive to upgrade. But my argument is I think it's an easier upgrade sale because you're just conveying points. You're not having to take inventory back and redeed new inventory. But, hey, it works for them, and so they will continue down that road. You will see also in the product line overlay points product being developed for the legacy resorts. Legacy resorts are those that are fixed timeshare, maybe a float timeshare. But again, you're buying a unit and a week, and now there's product being developed that overlay that with the points. RCI has done it on a global basis, but even on a local level, there are smaller clubs that are being developed so that what is being sold to the consumer on a resale basis is a points product, similar to the undivided interest in a trust. So I think you'll see the industry moving to some kind of a points-based currency. The new stuff,
although it kind of already is, right? It really, I mean,
it kind of is.
All new stuff is, and all the stuff. Well, you have RCI and Interval, etc., which allows some sort of exchange externally for the smaller ones, right? And then but obviously for all the big brands, all new things are with points, and even all this stuff is exchangeable within the internal exchanges of those big brands anyway, right?
No, that is correct. But even the properties that are under management, such as VRI has their own club now, Resort Management Corp has their own club now, so they're looking for vehicles to help in the resale market.
That's what. So do you see any that makes perfect sense? And you talked a little bit about the fact that things are moving, therefore, all into trusts, where they were all in deeded products, right? They're now obviously in trust, because at points you can't really do that in the same way unless with a deeded system. It needs to be in a trust so you can have a beneficial ownership. That will make sense. Is that something that has happened? That's definitely the case for all new products, right? But for all, and stuff are not really going to change for old ones. If you've got a deeded product, it's quite difficult. You said that they're creating overlays for points for the smaller developers. But in all new resorts, they've got the trustee model, right? I just want to check. Yeah, and the key thing here is on the trustee. Is it still Fidelity and First American Title who are doing basically everything in this space?
No, there are other trustees out there. There's FNTC. They are European-based, and they offer trust services primarily in the European market, but they've been in business for a long time, but they're also in the U.S. space. The interesting thing about a trustee is that it doesn't have to be, a recognized title company to do that. Literally, I could be a trustee personally. So it really comes down to the trust structure of the jurisdiction. So depending upon the state where the property is located, will determine what kind of a trust is required, to what level of security it's required. It all depends on the jurisdiction. So it's not necessarily those larger companies have it all tied up.
Have they got the biggest part of the market at the moment?
I think right now FNTC has the largest bundle. Probably Fidelity is number 2 in that space. American number 3.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Because it is important to notice that the trustee is separate from the title company. The reason the title companies got into it is because they were transferring the real estate to a trust, and I think they realized that there's a lot of benefit of being the trustee because they have the systems in place to track the conveyance. Just because it doesn't have a recording of the deeded interest, they still have the systems in place to be able to track the beneficial owners of the trust. So,
cool, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. And so, do you see then this? So you think this trustee side of things is going to grow a lot then in the next few years?
I doubt it. I doubt it because the number of timeshare sales, I think the gross number of sales is increasing. I think it's over $9 billion U.S. last year. Even though the number of the dollar amount is increasing, the number of actual intervals has remained fairly static. They're just costing more. So the work of the trustee is the same year over year. It's not like suddenly we're selling to 100,000 more members every year. It's still relatively flat in terms of the number of members. So I don't see that space growing. And it's one of those industries that it's systems driven. It's technology driven, and those guys can do it effectively and efficiently, and therefore the expense to the developer can be kept low. It's a fairly high entry dollar into that space in order to come up with the systems and to do it to the degree that the existing providers are already in there.
Okay, so these services aren't ongoing services. They're one-off at point of sale services. And given that the number of intervals is remaining very similar year on year, that market is likely to remain static going forward. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, good. And on the international side, I know I'm running out of time here. What do you see in terms of the changes and the scope to grow internationally?
Well,
most of these guys are basically staying U.S. focused, or they've been doing a little bit externally. Basically, Hilton's done a little bit in Japan right now with the recently, but basically everything's U.S. Is that your sense as well?
Yes, it is, because the studies that have been done, American Resort Development Association, ARDA, the trade organization, does a lot of research through their foundation as to the perception of timeshare, not only domestically but internationally. And whereas when you survey the U.S. population and you ask them about timeshare, it's about an 80-20 in favor of our favorable opinion of timeshare, 80% of the people being surveyed. When you ask that same question in Europe, it's 80-20 negative. I think it's the result of the early timeshare experiences in the European arena itself were very negative because of the sales and marketing approaches that were used. And you find regulation in the EU being very strict about rescission periods and what you can do and what you can't do, and it's even higher regulated than it is in the United States. I'm not sure the status of this one action, but there was pending legislation that would say that any time if an owner didn't like what they had, they could give it back. That is a chilling effect, because who do they give it back? Who takes it back? If the developer is no longer in business, does the homeowners association end up with that, and then how are they going to resell it?